And I'm really honored to be able to introduce this evening and to sort of provide us some context. What I'd like to talk about, just for a couple of minutes, is to share with you why I think a boy named 68818 is not only important but unique amongst Holocaust texts in general. And so this is, in some sense, my interpretation, which you may or may not have read or heard before. And this is a book that I highly recommend to teachers and to my students if they want. What's the kindest way to say this? There are many, many, many memoirs. We're lucky that we have many written memoirs written by survivors. But what makes this unique, I'd say there are 3 or 4 things that make this unique. The first is that this is a family project. In some ways, the way I have described this is that your testimony is translated by your daughter Miriam. So in many ways, even though it's your story, it's in the words of the second generation. And so even though the story within these pages is not your daughter's story, she's ever present. And your family's work in putting this together is ever present. And that's quite unique. Often with memoirs, we hear directly the words of a survivor. It's unusual that a family would come together to put this together. The other thing that makes this quite unique and extremely special are the exceptional, sometimes abstract illustrations throughout that make the narrative vivid to young readers. Some are drawn on lined pages with annotations that draw you in. Throughout the story, throughout Israel's story, we have poems that are from different parts of Holocaust history. We also have biblical quotations that reflect your religious upbringing. Some memoirs by Holocaust survivors will include poems and biblical quotations that don't necessarily reflect the background of the survivor themselves. They're kind of thrown in there almost as cliches, and at no point does the book read as a cliche. All of the additional materials are there for a reason. And finally, this was my first impression when I first read this. The book is extremely overwhelming. It's almost jam-packed. At various points, it feels too much. And I say that with the highest praise, that in a sense, reading it and the intensity of the narrative combined with the illustrations and the stories and the maps and the photographs and the timelines and all of the annotations and even the teacher's guide as you're reading through everything, you have a sense of feeling overwhelmed, even though it's quite concise, which in a sense reflects the intensity of the experience, but also the urgency of the history and the urgency of Holocaust education. So that's my endorsement about why this is so unique and important. It's an honor to finally meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.